Let's return to our top story. Government security cluster comprising the police, the Defence Force and state security moving today to reassure the public that the EFF's demonstration on Monday is not a shutdown. There are concerns the protest could see roads blocked and workers facing intimidation. At the same time, the EFF is making it clear that businesses should close on Monday. The party has been circulating letters, even driving through neighbourhoods with loud hailers to spread the message. The ANC, the DA, Action SA and other parties are all against a shutdown. Let's get a view from the business community. I'm joined now by Cas Coovadia, the CEO of Business Unity South Africa. And Cas, thank you so much for joining us. I want to play to you a clip from the spokesperson from the police, just reassuring South Africans about their plans. Let's take a listen.
We have put measures in place to prevent and combat any forms of criminality. We will not allow lawlessness. We will not allow any acts of criminality. We will not allow any barricading of roads, national, provincial, be it municipal roads. We will not allow any burning of tires. So we are assuring South Africans that as the National Joint Operational Structure, which is a structure which is led by the SAPS, the SANDF and State Security Agency, we have put measures in place to prevent and combat any forms of criminality, and that there is no national shutdown, but we are aware of a planned protest.
Plans in place to prevent and combat whatever may happen on Monday. Do you think that that is going to reassure the business community in particular about Monday?
Well, look, I think it's encouraging that the South African Police Services has issued the statement. I mean, that's exactly what they should be doing on Monday to ensure that law and order is maintained. We have issued a statement today recognizing the right to protest. But we condemn, and we condemn in the strongest terms, the comments made and the assertions made by the economic freedom fighters that they will force people to close, that they have announced a stay away, and they have announced that businesses will close and airports will close and so on. It's not their right to do so. So I think the forces of law and order need to protect the rights of people who do not want to stay away on Monday and who still want to go to work. We've also indicated that we think that it is counterintuitive to ask for a stay away or to demand a stay away, to protest against joblessness, to protest against the problems we're having in energy, to protest against an economy that's not growing. All of those things, to actually address those crises, we need people at work. We need an economy that grows. We need businesses to operate and grow so that they can employ more people. So I can't understand the EFF's motivations in calling for a stay away while at the same time saying that they're calling for a stay away because they want to address these issues. It's just counterintuitive, and one has to question why they're doing it.
So do you think, or are you hearing that nonetheless, despite these reassurances from the police, that they're going to really be very proactive in managing this? How many businesses are you getting an indication of whether a lot of businesses are just going to close on Monday as a precautionary measure?
No, we haven't received any indication that businesses are going to close. I think businesses are going to continue operating. They might take extra precautions from the point of view of having additional security in place. But we certainly haven't received any news from any of our members that they will close. We've obviously received calls that they are concerned that this thing might get out of hand. We've indicated, and we've also asked publicly for the force of law and order to do their job. And you know, we'll have to see how people respond to this call, because I think my own view is that, you know, people who have work currently want to protect their jobs. They don't want to lose their jobs. And I think that they would not see this as a positive call. And we'll have to see what happens. But businesses, certainly, we haven't been informed that businesses are closing. We have been informed that they have taken additional precautions, and we do call upon government to do what government should be doing, which is to actually govern and protect the rights of the majority of people who I believe do not support this.
We've also seen the taxi industry saying, we don't support this, we're going to be running business as usual. However, we do understand that this evening, certain members of the taxi industry, Santako, we understand, is actually in a meeting with the EFF tonight. Do you think that that could be key? If there is a change in position by the taxi industry, could that change the ability of people to get to work?
Sure. I mean, if people don't have the means to get to work, if they don't have the normal modes of transport that they use, they might not go to work. So I mean, let's be clear. There are various forms of intimidation that can be used to stop people from going to work, and that might work. But if the EFF or any other body of people who might want to contemplate this sort of action believe that that is a popular expression of people's support for them, that's totally incorrect. That would be totally incorrect. If you intimidate people not to provide transport, if you intimidate people not to open their businesses, they've been going around to businesses and saying they shouldn't be open, that doesn't have confidence in broad support from people. If you have confidence that people broadly will support your call for a stay away, then you don't need to do these things. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why they're meeting the taxi industry. I don't know what the outcome of that meeting would be. But if the taxis suddenly announce that they are not operating, people will obviously not be able to go to work, not because they want to stay away, because they just physically and practically can't get to work. And so they'll be at home. And the economy will suffer. And ultimately, the people that, in this case, this political party purports to represent will be the people who bear the brunt of this action.
Do you have a sense of how much muscle the EFF might be able to bring to bear? We know that SAFTU has said we're not politically aligned, but we're joining the strike because we agree with what they're saying around load shedding, around their calls for the president to go. And I ask that because Julius Malema's on record saying you thought the July unrest was bad. That's Mickey Mouse compared to what we're going to do on Monday. He's known to be hot-headed. He's known to overstate things. But how much muscle do you believe he will have when it comes down to it? Do you have an assessment even of that?
I quite honestly don't know, Sally. I mean, we're living in such a volatile time at the moment. We're living in a period in our country where anybody can stand up and claim to have a great deal of support. But we don't know until the day comes. I mean, SAFTU backing them up because they've, although they're apolitical, again, I mean, one has to then assume that a union that backs up this sort of a call is not really interested in creating employment. He's simply interested in protecting their own employed membership. But even that will not happen. I mean, we need to be absolutely clear that we had our economy shrank by 1.3% in the last quarter. We've been grey listed. We've been downgraded by rating agency. This is a perfect storm, and no amount of stayaways, no amount of protests and strikes can actually help us address the socio-economic crises we have in this country. We've got to put our heads together to see how we grow this economy. Business is critical of government. Business is critical of the load shedding and the state of our energy situation. Business is critical about the fact that, in our view, government has not made the necessary fundamental reforms in the economy that they should make to create an environment for investment. But we also at the same time believe that we need to put our heads together with government to see how we can achieve these things, to see how we can grow our economy, attract investment, because without that, we don't address issues of unemployment, we don't address issues of poverty, we don't address issues of inequality. So, to us, it's good for business, for the sustainability of our businesses to work to actually address these crises. And we are absolutely convinced that if we are successful in addressing this crisis through investment, growth, and creation of jobs, then we actually address the social crisis we have. Now, we can have all sorts of ideologies, but unless somebody tells me different as to how we can address the crisis we are in currently, I believe that that's the only route we can go. And we should all be putting our heads together to do that.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. Cas
Thank you.
Coovadia is the CEO of Business Unity South Africa, saying that so far none of the businesses affiliated with their organisation have indicated that they're going to close as a precautionary measure on Monday. They're all planning to stay open at this point, some perhaps considering extra security and also that reassurance from the police that they're going to be proactive to prevent and combat any lawlessness.